From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon of afternoons LALATE as the president wraps up that meeting in Brussels about your sixth stimulus package of 2022. But in this fourth stimulus update of 2022, we have those big four stimulus checks landing in countless viewers of this channel's hands. Yes, $15,000 to $80,000 of checks. We'll go over the latest details on that. Then we'll be looking at those third MSC checks, which have landed as well. Huge, great news. And last night on Evenings LALATE in prime time, 3 viewers in 3 minutes got $100,000. I'll give you the big success story that the viewership of this channel continues to deliver. Meantime, 6 stimulus, confirming exactly what I've been reporting for no less than 3 weeks. The president meeting with those G7 leaders in Brussels. And guess what they talked about? They talked about the 6 stimulus package. And the provisions and the settlement agreements is exactly what I said. First, wheat. Second, gasoline. And then what could be next? Oh boy, are the latest details about what Janet Yellen has said about China and whether she thinks it's going to give money to Vladimir Putin. In this recording, we have a lot of other money to go over, which is, of course, the Build Back Better Act. Those huge checks are making a new pivot today. Incredible, great news. We'll go over the CR for stimulus, the SS300, and then, of course, the big money at issue. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and guess what? Seventh. New details today about the 7th stimulus package. This is student loan debt forgiveness coming potentially in May. An inherent deadline set by the president. Boy, it's a big afternoon, and tonight in today's recording, we have a preview of tonight's mega 1-hour special in primetime Evenings LALATE. We'll be going over those third stimulus MSC checks which have landed in viewers' hands, the fourth stimulus checks which have landed in viewers' hands as well. Then we'll be looking at the 6th stimulus heating up in April and the 7th stimulus student loan debt forgiveness happening as well in May. It's a big recording for the shores of Santa Monica, California. We have a lot of money at issue today and a lot of major breaking news from the president, Janet Yellen, and more speaking on the last few minutes. I have everything you need to know and all the big money for you to get. It's America's most watched show in prime time tonight, Evenings LALATE, and we have a preview of that as well. The details start from the shores of Santa Monica, starting right now on a big afternoon's broadcast this beautiful afternoon. And good afternoon, everybody. It is a big afternoon. We have a lot to go over in today's broadcast, and we're going to start, of course, with that Build Back Better Act. But coming up later in this video, stay at the very end. We're going to go over those MSC third stimulus checks have been landing in viewers' hands. I'm going to show you how to get it, and then we'll be going over the fourth stimulus checks, which have been landing in viewers' hands as well. Huge checks, $15,000 to $80,000. And then we'll have the preview of that 6th stimulus coming in April to battle recession. It's Putin-caused stimulus, and also the latest details on what happened with that 6th stimulus negotiations today in Brussels. No less than that. We're also going to touch on that 7th stimulus package, student loan debt forgiveness, later in this video. We have a lot coming up throughout this video. Get your pen and paper ready to take notes. And yes, we have a new deal on oil. Boy, big recording today. We're going to start first with that Build Back Better Act, the fourth stimulus recon. Not a law, but in the Senate from the House. New indication today that it's going to get passed. Why? Because there's 3 clauses and 3 add-ons. And there's a series of new reports that came out minutes ago that LALATE has obtained that says that potentially the housing market's going to be crashing. The housing market fell 4.1% in the month of February compared to January. This is the 4th month of declines across the board. And this is as the median monthly payment for mortgages went up dramatically. Where is it today at the time of recording? It jumped 8.3%. That's a 30-year fixed note. And guess what? It's getting worse by the minute. In fact, the current situation right now is it's raised 4.93. It's raised 24 basis point to 4.95%. Why am I going over that? Because this is likely ammunition to do the four stimulus recon. 3 classes and 3 add-ons. We now have oil, we have wheat, we have an energy shortage, and now we have a potential housing market. More reason to do the four stimulus recon. Why? Because there's a lot of money in there for homeowners. Let's go over all the incredible details of that Build Back Better Act. That's why you want to always stay with this channel, because it's the details behind the checks, not just the checks. In that Build Back Better Act, we have a lot of money, 3 clusters and 3 add-ons. In that first cluster, there is money for, of course, home repairs. Yes, in that first cluster, we have in there hazard pay for essential workers, the Earned Income Tax Credit 1 more year, and the CTC 1 more year, and $4,000 of elder care. But also in that first cluster, repairs to that home if you live in a low-income family. Then we have in that first cluster the big money for nutrition, college grant $550 check, and the Pell, which is the Pell grant, and the $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle. How do you get these big checks? It's tonight on E! News LA in prime time, America's most watched show. You don't want to miss it. We have a lot of breaking news tonight. It's 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's the March 25th edition. In that first add-on, it checks again more money for housing. Less than $25,000 for the purchase of your first home. Guess what? If the 30-year fixed mortgage went up 24 basis points in just a few days to 5%, and the housing market's going to crash, you need this Build Back Better Act. Again, here's more money for housing. In that second cluster, we have home repairs. This is to weatherize your home and paid leave. It's a lot of money. It's if you have to stay home due to sickness or illness. How do you get those big checks? It's coming up tonight in prime time on E! News LA. Tune into then. Then $250 billion of free home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. That third cluster, even more checks. Independent contractors checks, farmers checks. And then we have lots of checks for nutrition, free internet, and then seniors checks. Lots of checks for seniors, dental, vision, hearing, Medicaid gap fix, and lowering the eligibility age of Medicare from 65 to 55 are among the checks that the senators would add in there on the Build Back Better Act. And the other checks that they would add in there are monthly IRS stimulus checks. Now, we're doing currently in this recording the 4th stimulus recon of the Build Back Better Act. Stay with me because I have 3rd stimulus MSC checks, which viewers have gotten this week, and I'm going to show you how to get them. But let's go over these 4th stimulus MSC checks. These are coming from IRS, and these are paid out to single individuals, $75,000 less. You get it. Married couple, $150,000 less. You get it, double it. Family 4, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, who would get these big checks? These big checks would go out $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. Represents the leadership of the Senate. Now, that is the 4th stimulus recon. Now, in just a second, I'm going to give you the incredible details of those 3rd stimulus MSC checks. 3rd stimulus MSC checks different than 4th stimulus MSC checks. 4th stimulus not law. Not law. It's currently in the Senate, but what is law is 4th stimulus add-on. Oh boy, that's a lot to digest. Let's slow it down. What we just went over was the Build Back Better Act. It's not law yet. It is in the Senate. But 4 weeks ago today, the President of the United States made law by the executive branch, just himself, would ask Congress, a add-on to provide $15,000 to $80,000 in checks for a 4th stimulus to viewers of this channel who are homeowners. Yes, and it's landed. Viewers have gotten it. How do you get it? It's coming up later in this video. Meantime, 3rd stimulus became law last year. It did. And that 3rd stimulus viewers have now gotten, in addition to their 3rd stimulus check of $1,400, now MSC checks on top of that. They got it this week. And last night on E! News LA, you missed it if you did not tune in. 3 viewers in the live chat in prime time revealed collectively, the 3 of them, got across these MSC 3rd stimulus checks, $100,000. It was literally in 3 minutes. We had 3 viewers reveal they had gotten $100,000. Who are they? I have the details tonight on E! News LA. Now let's go over what happened in Brussels. Very fascinating. The President of the United States went overseas to discuss the 6th stimulus package. When would this happen? In April. This would happen in April. Why? It's Putin-caused stimulus. And we have seen a lot of stimulus packages in this channel, but these overlap. 3rd is happening right now. 4th is happening right now. And 6th would start in April. It is everything that Putin has caused. Economic uncertainty, recessionary pressures, and its oil, wheat, grain, banking irregularities, and banking potential default, and more. Well, guess what? The leadership that met overseas today said, we got it locked up. Do they or do they not? It's coming up later in this video. Also coming up later in this video is that 7 stimulus package. That is in May 2nd. That deadline is set by the White House. It is for student loan debt forgiveness. Suddenly you see 3rd, 4th, 6th, and 7 happening at the same time. Not yet happening is 5th, which is for SSI and SSI reform. But there's a way to get that 5th done in part right today. How do you do it? You swap COLA for inflation. Yes, you swap COLA for inflation. Joe Biden, in his run for president of the United States, promised to swap COLA for inflation. And if he did it right today, your benefits would go up $200 a month per year. Per month, lifetime, and not just this year, but lifetime. Why? Because your benefits are currently tied to COLA. COLA doesn't work if you swap it for inflation. Inflation is at its highest price point of a generation. J-Powell, his job is to bring down inflation, and he has a lot of tools, some of which may not work. Joe Biden's efforts is to swap COLA for inflation. So, you want Joe to swap COLA for inflation now, when inflation is at 8% now, or potentially higher, before it comes down by May. Then it'll potentially drop to 6%. I'll have more about that analysis later in this video. If they made that swap right now, you'd lock at $200 more per month. But what about later this year? Well, Jay Powell a month ago said that inflation he thinks would get to 4% later this year. That's what I believe. But just a few days ago at that FOMC meeting, he said 1.9%. Oh no, that's not good. That's just another $50 more per month, not $100 more per month. So you want Joe to make that swap for COLA to inflation right now. That is SS300. CR gets another round at the bite. Another bite at the round. Another bite at something. I just butchered that expression. Another bite at the apple. There we go. Another round at the apple. Another bite at the apple. A round at the lobster dance. There we go. That's the expression that Mitch was looking for, and me as well. What's going on? Well, Joe Biden wanted some money for COVID in that last CR that became a law about 3 weeks ago. He didn't get it. Now, the subvariant to Omicron is in the United States, spreading rapidly. And he really needs it because he has absolutely not a penny for COVID, mass testing, or anything. And that spread of that subvariant is sending China on lockdown. Yes, if they go on lockdown, guess what? We're going to have a very severe situation here as well. And he has no money. So he's doing another round of that CR in the next few days. I'll watch it as soon as it becomes a law. Whatever happened to that CR 3 weeks ago? Well, they put county stimulus in there. So reach out to your local counties to learn about that county stimulus. Boy. Now, let's turn to the exciting great news about these MSE checks and these forced stimulus checks landing in people's hands. It's absolutely incredible. First, what I want you to know is that things change over time, and sometimes things go back to where they started. This channel started with me recording on an empty beach, going over EIDL, which you had to do something for to get, PUA, which you had to do something for to get, UI, which you had to do something for to get, and similar mechanisms of the first stimulus package. Our first stimulus was all about doing something to get the big checks, and I don't mean $600 stimulus checks. I'm talking about $150,000 checks, or $10,000 checks, or $15,000 checks. You had to do something, and that something involved a phone call and a pen and a paper. Along came second and third, and second and third looked like you could just do nothing and get a big check. You never did. The largest of the two items was $1,400. Well, now what's happening right now is viewers are cleaning up with massive checks. These aren't small $600 checks. This requires a pen and paper and you taking notes. And let's go over the details of it right now. Third stimulus sent out a stimulus check last year, earlier this year, but guess what? Actually, last year, 2021. But guess what? MSE checks for third stimulus have now landed in viewers' hands. Who can get it? If you got a second stimulus check or a third, you can get it as well. If you're a renter or if you're a homeowner, it's coming up later in this video. How much of you is getting on average? They're getting on average monthly stimulus checks of 12 month at $2,000 a pop. Joe sent them out and the viewers have gotten. It's huge. It's a lot more than that forced stimulus recon check, which is still happening, but it's not law yet. Then, the second thing is those forced stimulus checks. Yes, forced stimulus checks have landed. These are the same eligibility as third stimulus, but the only difference is a lot more money. $15,000 to $80,000. Do you think the federal government's sending you an $80,000 check just because you're walking around? No. Again, you have to do something to get these $80,000 checks. What do? You see the second half of this video. It's coming up right after the commercial break. But first, become a member. The link's at the top of the channel and on the pinned comment. Thank you for all the incredible members who have joined this channel in recent days. Astronomical. Become a member, because in the second half of this video, we're going to go over why last night, 3 members in 3 minutes revealed they got over $100,000 from this third and fourth stimulus this week. It's astronomically incredible, and the success stories continue to come on in. Then we'll look at that 6th stimulus check, the 7th stimulus, and we'll also go over everything that happened today, domestically and internationally, about 6th stimulus, and what can also happen at your state level. Meantime, we'll be looking at that 7th stimulus. Yes, that big push for Joe Biden to forgive student loan debt forgiveness. Oh, we got a big second half of this recording. We have a lot of breaking news and a lot of economic news and a lot of major developing details that impact your wallet. It's coming up all in the second half. But first, if you need some assistance, there's the membership community page. If you're a member, reach out to that community page and they'll be able to help you and give you guidance. Here again is the membership community page. See you back in 60 seconds with all the incredible checks that you can get on a big broadcast and a preview tonight of tonight's Big Evenings LA. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now in a Big Afternoons broadcast for March 25th, 2022. In the second half of this video, we'll be touching base on that CR, the Build Back Better, the 3rd stimulus MSC checks, the 4th stimulus checks that have landed, and the latest details on those 6 stimulus items, and also, of course, the 7th stimulus package. It's a big broadcast, and also stay to the very end because I have a surprise for you at the very end of this video. Boy, what a big week it has been, and what a big day of breaking news. First, let's go over everything that leads up to those MSC checks, those 4 stimulus recon. First, it's important to understand that the Build Back Better Act really has to get done, and is likely to get done in view of what's happening. When I cover Build Back Better Act, it's important to stay up to date on everything at issue, because the housing market and the gasoline shortage is really what's amping the way to get that Build Back Better Act done. Not law yet, currently in the Senate. Next, when we talk about that CR, I've seen some people talk about, I've reached out to my county to find the county stimulus. I would not spend a lot of time on county stimulus. It's sort of hard. It's different everywhere across the country. When we turn to the SS300, I would be on social media, tagging Joe Biden, hashtag Joe make the phone call, because you want Joe to make that swap from COLA to inflation right today. So I see some people tweeting about use $1.5 trillion of discretionary funds of the CR. No, that CR is law. So you want to spend your time really, if you're doing a social media campaign, on hashtag Joe make the call to make that swap to COLA inflation, which then tees us up on where you should spend your time on getting checks. It's 3rd stimulus, MSC, and 4th stimulus. Now, let's go over the 4th stimulus first, and then the 3rd stimulus. First, an overview. If you're a renter or homeowner, one of these is going to cover you. I got money for both of you. So stay through both of them, because I'll either have money for both of you, or in both programs, or one of the programs for you as a viewer. Now, let's start first with the 4th stimulus add-on, and it's incredible great news. Now, let's clarify. The Build Back Better Act, 4 stimulus recon, currently in the Senate, not law. It's a bill. But the President of the United States can do laws himself. He does not need Congress, and that's what he did 4 Fridays ago. As soon as he announced it, I immediately put it into the membership newsletter for members on this channel, and the members really pounced. It's been live for 4 weeks, and members have gotten funded. How much? $15,000 to $80,000. Like Mark, who got $66,000, and countless viewers who've gotten their application on file and been told, congratulations, you're complete. Your application complete. You're going to get funded. So this is law. 1, it's nationwide. 2, it is available for you like any other stimulus package. And 3, the eligibility is the same as a third stimulus check for income. Single individual, $75,000 less, you can get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, you can get it. Now, unlike a stimulus check, you don't double or triple it. The payout is $15,000 to $80,000 a household. And just like a stimulus check, you can get it if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, and veterans benefits. I've had a lot of viewers who are on benefits who have gotten these $15,000 to $80,000 of checks. So what's the last qualification? You own a home. Yes, this is called, for purposes of this video, the homeowner's grant. The homeowner's grant, made law by the President of the United States 4 Fridays ago, pays $15,000 to $80,000 of checks. How do you get it? You become a member. The membership link's at the top of the chat and the pinned comment. As a member, you get that newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alert system and it's sent directly to you. But I have a surprise about that newsletter. Stay to the very end. It's at the very end of today's video. The membership newsletter features the grant's full name. It's not the homeowner's grant. It's actually longer than that. Second, it gives the description of that income qualification I just went over. Next, it goes over what you can get that money for, like home repairs, incredible. Property taxes, absolutely incredible. And other items as well. Great news. Then it goes over the big sums of money that are at issue. And finally, it gives you the link to apply. You want to apply and click that link. It'll send you right into the federal website, which routes you to your state's website. As one viewer said on the afternoon show today, she said, I was in a pink state. They're accepting the applications just like LALATE said, and I applied. Pink is a state in which the payments have not gone out, but the applications are open. So when the applications are open, you want to pounce as quickly as possible, and she did. Every state is paying out. Now, it's been law for 4 weeks, and states will ultimately run out of funds. In the case of New York, that state is now limiting how many applications because it's been overwhelmed. They're on a waiting list in the moment, so get on that waiting list. Now, what do you need to know? 15,000 to 80,000. 1, homeowners, yes. In addition, yes, to everything in Force Stimulus Recon. In addition to everything I've ever got to you as a homeowner on this channel, yes, it does not replace the other sums of money. Now, if you're not a homeowner, I have for you, yes, third stimulus MSE checks. Third stimulus MSE checks are for 2 groups of people. It is for renters, and it's also, once again, for homeowners. Now, let's slow it down. There's a lot of things you need to know. This is third stimulus. It's not fourth stimulus. It's not IRS MSC checks. It's MSC checks, monthly stimulus checks. And it's addition to the $1,400 check you got from third stimulus. When did this become a law? It became a law in January 2021. And the incredible details featured every single night on this channel continue to grow bigger by the moment. As last night in the Evenings LA, 3 viewers in 3 minutes revealed in the live chat, they had collectively gotten close to $100,000. I'll feature the incredible success story in prime time tonight. It's absolutely incredible, inspirational. But where did this third stimulus MSC check come from? My creation? Joe Biden's creation? No. The members' creation. Absolutely incredible. Let's take a step back to understand how this happened. It happened in December 2020 when I said, it's the thick of the pandemic. People need money. Let me get you some money. I got viewers, whatever was available. Not a lot. $250,000 was sitting around for rent, utilities, and mortgage assistance. We did not have a second stimulus package. It was not a law. And first was over. You needed the money. But the great real awakening was when I had a preview, an exclusive preview of a new piece of legislation coming in next year. It was coined on this channel as expression, third stimulus package. I've always coined these expressions, first to give the name 4th stimulus, 5th stimulus, 6th, and 7th stimulus. Now, when I had it in preview, I said, I think you can get about 15,000 from me from watching this third stimulus when it becomes law. Well, the viewers, they got 45,000. What happened? At the time, I said get around 3 to 4 months of rent, spring 2021. Same thing last summer, then last Christmas, 3 to 4 months. And then I said it over the last few weeks of 2022. Then things changed. The members created it into, or morphed it into an MSC. What do? They no longer wanted to do a round, and they realized, wait a second, if I can get the payee to pay me, the payor to pay me a whole year of checks, let's do a whole year of MSC checks. And they did it. What happened? The membership created a third stimulus MSC check out of rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and other items across the board. The average viewer is getting 12 months of these checks at $2,000 a pop. What do? You pick up a pen. Second, you pick up a phone. Third, you pick up a piece of paper because you need something to write on. And you make the effort to get these checks, and they're available nationwide. If you want more guidance on how to get them, they're in the membership newsletter. Let's give you some examples in addition to those ones from last night. It started in mid to early March. We had Lindsay Ramirez, who got $1,500 checks for 12 months, breaking out to 2 checks per month, one for rent at $1,000 and one for utilities at $500 a month. We had Olivia Summers getting 4 years of MSE checks, incredible, which amounts to $150,000. We had David Allen getting 9 months of checks. This is all on March 21st, actually. My mistake. 9 months at $1,500 a pop. Mr. Bean getting $16,000 at 9 months. Annabelle getting several months. The continuous success stories came in one after another. What do? You want to get these big checks. Again, the average viewer of this channel is getting 12 months of $2,000. And it is huge. Again, it's for renters or homeowners. And let me make something very clear to you. As one viewer in the big payout of last night, of those $100,000, the big one was $60,000. What type of viewer was he? He said, make sure you tell everyone tomorrow night, LA, that I'm on SSI and SSDI. And I made the effort and I got it. So there you go. If you're on SSI and SSDI, this is for you. Congratulations to him. And thank you to him. I'll feature him tonight because he is a true inspiration. By showing all of us, you get these incredible checks. So where do you get these checks? Get that pen and paper ready. Here we go. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city house authority, your county house authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. 3 things you must do. You must reach out to all 6 places. We just went over those 6 places, so make sure you reach out to all 6 places. Now, the difference here is that if you are a member, you will have in that membership newsletter the nonprofits. So you're going to have more than 6 places. You're going to have upwards of about over a dozen to a dozen and a half. Then put multiple applications in file. Then do multiple rounds. Well, not anymore. Again, the viewership of this channel is getting 12 months on average of checks, no longer 3 to 4 months per round. That's the incredible success stories that keep on coming in. Then you want to open that membership newsletter because guess what? I feature all these incredible details in the membership newsletter. That is why this channel is surging. This is why this channel is #1 in prime time for financial news. Get that membership newsletter tonight or right now. Then in that membership newsletter, you have the nonprofits. The nonprofits pick up for these items as well, with also home repairs and other repairs around the home. Then average viewer of the channel is getting $45,000. Do it right today. Don't wait. Incredible details across the board. And there you go. That is the third stimulus MSC check. Do it right today. Incredible success stories. Let's recap so you understand what we just covered. That was third stimulus MSC checks. Joe sent them out. Law. January 2022, pick up the pen and call. If you're a member, become a member. And the average payout is 12 months at $2,000 a pop. That's for renters and homeowners. The homeowners, $15,000 to $80,000 with that grant program featured in the membership newsletter Monday through Friday. Coming up later in this video, a surprise about one of the 2 things, and I have it for you. Now, let's turn to that 6 stimulus. 6 stimuluses for April. Why? Because we're going to see if Macron, that president of France, is reelected. The trifecta is Germany's Chancellor Joe Biden and also Macron. And if Macron is reelected, guess what? We're going to get that 6 stimulus package. First stimulus package was for COVID. Second was to be for COVID. Third was coming out of COVID. Fourth, coming out of COVID. Fifth is for seniors. 6 here right now is because of Putin. 7th is for student loan debt forgiveness. So I had told you the second week of the invasion of Ukraine that Anthony Blinken, your Secretary of State, met with Germany and France saying, you need to get off of those Russian products. And they initially said, no, we're too economically dependent upon them. And he said, no, it's a moral issue. You have to morally get off of it. And what do they say? Okay, well, debt spent. So the 6 stimulus concept is that the countries, Germany, France, the United States, will raise national debts to then spend money on citizens. Why? because otherwise you go into recession. Number one, you can't afford gasoline at $5 a pump. At the gallon of the pump. You can't afford bread at $6 a loaf. And guess what? That's where we are right now. It's going to get worse. So that's the concept of six stimulus. Guess what's happened in the last 48 hours? Everything that I've told you, which is about six stimulus. One, oil. Two, wheat. Three, China, has been talked and walked about by the United States president and his Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, in broadcast media. Incredible. He has confirmed every single element of the six stimulus package I've been telling you. It was not a game changer, but it actually confirmed everything which I showed you. So first, let me go over everything that happened with this in really the last 48 hours. If you've not been watching this channel the last few days, let me tell you, Joe Biden is overseas in Brussels, meeting with those economic and those G7 leaders and also the NATO leaders. I did not expect a lot of talk about six stimulus, but in fact, he delivered more. Ultimately, I was looking to see what Joe said with France and Germany, and guess what he did on yesterday, March 24th. Yesterday, on March 24th, he confirmed my statements about six stimulus needed for wheat. And the U.S. dedicated an enormous allocation of resources to ensure our partner allies have enough money for wheat. What's at issue? Wheat and grain is one of your biggest commodities. And if you can't afford $7 a loaf of bread at the supermarket, we go into recession. Well, that's where we're heading because all the wheat and grain that funnels and services Eastern Europe and Middle East comes out of Ukraine and Russia, and that's no longer available. I've been recording that for now 3 weeks. So the President of the United States yesterday said we're going to do an initiative that will provide enough wheat to our partner allies around the globe. Incredible. And that he specifically targeted those other countries. We don't have a shortage of wheat production in the United States. Our wheat production, even if we ramped up, would not reduce the price of wheat internationally. And if you remember, it's featured in the membership newsletter, and boy, it's horrible. The price of wheat is an 8-year, 10-year high. It's getting worse by the day. So day one of that Brussels summit, Joe Biden confirmed my reporting about six stimulus for wheat. Then today, he confirmed day two in Brussels, my other reporting about six stimulus, the oil situation. I had told you the President of the United States reached a deal with Iran about oil, and that oil is one of the prongs of the six stimulus package. Well, guess what? He talked about oil today as well. He did that in meeting with those economic leaders in Brussels, and he said the U.S. will be setting up a deal. He announced a deal between the European Union and the United States. So it's a little bit larger than just France and Germany. And that deal with the European Commissioner President Ursula von der Leyen, in its essence, said that it will eliminate Russian gas altogether for Europe. Wow. This is a major deal that will provide additional volumes of LNG, which is natural gas, to our partner allies and get complete dependency on Russian oil gone. It's huge. USNLG is a key to breaking away Putin's energy grip on Europe. So this is not the type of gas that goes in your car necessarily, but it eliminates the dependency of our European allies on Russian LNG gasoline, natural energy gasoline. So very, very fascinating across the board. And if I have any viewer who is an expert on oil and says you're misstating what type of oil it is, I got it. I'm trying my best. I am not an oil expert. But here we go. The deal is a huge one, and the U.S. will be providing extra LNG, which will help boost our economy well through at least 2030. It's a major deal, and it actually has a commissioner who's going to be in charge of it. And it'll raise awareness that we are getting off of those Russian products. That was number two. Number three, back in the United States, Janet Yellen, your Treasury Secretary, did not go overseas with Joe Biden, but she appeared on broadcast media. And she was asked about the third prong of that big six stimulus package. And what is that third prong? Yes, China. I've been detailing that as well. And she was asked, will China get sanctioned by the U.S.? And will that tee up basically a six stimulus package? She said at the moment she doesn't see a need to sanction China. We would have to be very concerned if we were to supply it. We would be very concerned if China supplied weapons to Russia. We don't see that happening at the moment. Then when asked whether there'd be sanctions, I don't think that's necessarily appropriate at the moment. Senior officials are talking privately and quietly with China to make sure they understand our position. We would be very concerned if they change that across the board. Translation? China has a very clear policy. You don't tell it what to do, especially if a Western country, you don't tell it what to do. So China is not promised, not at all, not to give money to Russia, and may still give money to Russia. And if they do, guess what? Get ready for sixth stimulus package. So there you go. That is the sixth stimulus package recap. It'll be featured more tonight on primetime on Evening Satellite because it's a very important package. But it's likely to be the biggest stimulus package you've seen of a generation. It's to get off of Russian products. It's Putin-caused stimulus. And if you just got off of Putin products, we would all go into recession. Our partner allies would go into recession, we go into recession. And if we just fix wheat, then we have an oil crisis. If we just fix oil, then we have a China problem. If we just fix China, we have a banking problem. That's April 4th. Vladimir Putin is likely to default on $2 billion of principal repayment. And if he does, guess what? Our U.S. banks don't really know, or we don't know from them, how exposed they are to Russia with Russian debt positions and Russian equity positions. That economy, Russia's about to go into third world status, likely the next Cuba. And that is a horrible situation. It could implode our banking industry. So these are all elements of that sixth stimulus package. Now, let me give you the other parts of sixth stimulus, which are important to watch out for. Yesterday, I had a big laugh of you as legislators back in Capitol Hill introduced their version of sixth stimulus package. And I said, really? You are absolutely a joke. I mean, there's really a few times that I just want to really call out someone. But they introduced a body of legislation that is basically sixth stimulus caused, which says we're going to give you a check every month. We're going to give you a check for 2 months, I think it was, for to survive this economy. What is it for? For gasoline. How much are they going to give you? $100. Which is absolutely a joke because people's gas tanks are 15 to 20 gallon gas tanks, and the current price of gasoline is $5. Well, no, it's $5.24. Average, many places, $6 to $7 a gallon, and many people's gas tanks are $25 a gallon, 25 gallon gas tanks. So this is a check for half a tank of gas one time. It's just like, okay, so what am I going to do? Walk the rest of the month? It's ridiculous. And they show the ridiculousness when they did it. Now, states are proposing their state stimuluses as well. What you need to know about sixth stimulus is it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be internationally, then it's going to be federal with Joe Biden, then it's going to be statewide as well, and then also maybe Congress versions of it. I'll have all about that as well. Seven Stimulus really debuted on this channel 2 nights ago. I guess it was March 23rd. And Seven Stimulus is suddenly, heating up. It's just, I had one piece of paper. If you watch my notes, this is half of my notes for today's broadcast. Half the other half is on the other side of the table. And Seven Stimulus was one piece of paper. It was one piece of paper when I announced it. But guess what's happening with Seven Stimulus? It's heating up right now. And what's heating up with what right now? It's becoming front page news as Miguel Cardona, who's your educational secretary, has really not giving real guidance about what's happening. But Joe Biden's chief of staff, Ron Klain, has. Seventh stimulus is student loan debt forgiveness. Your student loan debt repayment has been frozen because of COVID. You don't have to repay it yet. That date in which you'll start to have to repay it is May 2nd. So Klain, thankfully, gave us clarity, and also a seven stimulus package, where he said that by May 2nd, Joe Biden will decide whether to continue to freeze the student loan repayments so you don't have to pay them yet, or we'll make a decision to forgive student loan debt. That was on March 24th. So what's the update today on March 25th? John King, who is Obama's education secretary, says that student loan debt forgiveness absolutely should be forgiven, and he thinks it will be forgiven. And when asked do you believe that President Biden has the ability to forgive it? He says, absolutely. We were able to put in place in the Obama administration a process for debt cancellation. The vast majority of lawyers who looked at the question believe there is executive authority for broader forgiveness. Have you had any conversations with Miguel Cardona, the current education secretary? Yes, I've talked with him. The decision comes out to the president. On the March 24th recording of this channel, I told you that for purposes of student loan debt forgiveness, there is a lot of great analysis brand new this week that says Joe can do it. But more importantly, if you're not sure he can, then the only people who can undo it is Congress, and it would require every single Republican and a few Democrats to vote against him. And they don't think there's enough Democrats or Republicans to vote to undo it. So I think Joe should run with it and absolutely do it across the board. Tonight on Evenings Satellite, we have a lot to go over. It's a huge broadcast. We are going to go over, first, the Build Back Better Act, why the housing crisis is really formulating overnight. I have been telling you since October of 2021, that if Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine, this would be the biggest economic story of the year. Once he did, I said, guess what? We're going to recession. And then I told you stagflation was already hitting the housing market. Tonight, I can tell you that the housing market is in a major slump and could be going down the toilet very quickly. The mortgage rates are 5%. People are not going to buy a house at 5%. And guess what? Everyone who bought a home last year trying to flip it and make money on it now, in the best time, because most people sell homes in the spring, are looking and saying, uh-oh, there's no buyers. It's 5% mortgage rates. No one can afford a 5.4% mortgage rate. So I'll have the latest details on that and why that is teeing up the push to get Build Back Better done. Then we'll be looking at that real next attempt from CR, because guess what? That subvariant of Omicron is very, very serious. And we have all the pushes now underway for that fourth shot. So Joe Biden has absolutely not a penny for COVID. I think that CR second round is going to happen just within days. Then we'll be looking at SS300 and what Joe Biden is doing or not doing with raising your benefits up, and also what Jay Powell is projecting by new statements, but what he's actually able to do with reducing inflation. Then, of course, the breaking details out of Brussels on that sixth stimulus package. Wow, it's huge. Wheat, which I've been covering on six stimulus, confirmed. Oil, which I've been covering in six stimulus, confirmed. And now China, which I've been covering in six stimulus, also confirmed. And of course, then we'll be going over that big third stimulus MSC check and fourth stimulus check, which have landed in viewers' hands. What's important to know is that first was all about making the effort to get checks, and we're taking that complete run back to where it was at day one. Finally, surprise. I promised you for it later in this video. We've had so many new members join this channel in this last week. And because it's spring and because I just feel in the spirit of, celebrating with all of you, this weekend I will be sending out an additional membership newsletter over the weekend. I thought to myself, you know what? Let's do it. Let's just try it once. And because the membership newsletter is normally Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. So to find out when it's going out this weekend, I will be revealing it in one of the weekend shows this weekend. Otherwise, you can just watch your YouTube alerts and see when it comes on in. But it will be a special membership newsletter for people coming in this weekend. I thought it was a great idea. One time, just for this weekend, unless unless Sir Lloyd comes in and bites on my toe, then maybe I'll change my mind. But for now, it's a special surprise coming this weekend. Finding out when it is, you'll be revealed in one of the broadcasts over the weekend. And with that, join me tonight on Primetime for Evenings LA, America's most watched show in primetime for financial news. Boy, there's a reason why we're number one for financial news in primetime, because six stimulus, everything that Joe Biden said in Brussels that I predicted 3 weeks ago, he said. Those details and more, if you haven't become a member, go to the top of the channel and become a member. See you tonight at 5 o'clock. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LALATE for more.